Build that ego up.
Build your ego up. Pump yourself up. Tell everybody around the Twitterverse and everything how great you are. Give yourself a pat on the back and a big old hug. Go ahead, Austin.
Oh man, God, that's I don't like to do that, but I'll do that for the show.
More humble pie.
Yeah, just trying to do my part. But living out in the suburbs of Chicago, I'm born and raised here, and then moved out to PA, and just moved back a couple months ago. So I'm excited to be back for this season, especially. But yeah, I mean, I've just kind of been on Twitter I've been tweeting Bears for like 8 or 9. Actually more than that, like 10 months now. Just having a good time. Started the podcast out. I've been able to speak to some awesome Bears greats. So I've been able to have some fun, and now I'm excited to be on your guys' pod with 2 days to go before opening day. I can't believe it's almost here.
I know, man. 2 days away. It's unreal because I felt like the training camp, it didn't go slow, but I mean, once it reached those final 2 weeks, it just hit to like a pause, and it just felt like it took forever. And then it felt like before that, the summer just went fast forward right up until then. Those last 2 weeks, it just took forever.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, there are points in the season that, you're covering the team and you're doing your podcast or tweeting, whatever, and, you hit those super slow times in the off season. It's tough to develop some content. So yeah, I totally get that.
Well, I mean, I got to come right out and I got to ask some questions on this rivalry and what you're thinking. Both franchises being 100 years old, man. I mean, how special is it to sit there and watch both of these teams, two of the oldest teams in the NFL, and get opening night over the Super Bowl champions, Super Bowl participants, even like the other playoff teams in the NFL. I mean, it just doesn't seem like what I was also kind of in the past week mentioning to some people too. A lot of people don't appreciate the NFL, no, not NFL, the pre-NFL lore of NFL history, like with Curly Lambeau and Papa Bear Halas. I mean, it just seems like a lot of people don't appreciate it, and it's kind of sad, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, what's funny? You bring that up. We actually did, I would say starting 2 months ago, we're not doing it anymore because we're in regular season podcast now, but we actually did a segment where we kind of like, it's literally called Reading a Wikipedia Page About an Old Man, which is an old Bears player, and those guys are talented. They played multiple positions. Sid Luckman threw for touchdowns. I think he also played safety, got some interceptions. I mean, there's some guys that, like, one guy was I forgot, he was like a fullback, and then he ran a paper company. So, I mean, there's some rich history in the NFL, especially Bears Packers, and for them to start the 100th season off of the NFL off on Thursday, that speaks volumes to this rivalry and the storied rivalry. I mean, this is you got Packers Bears, and then you got Yankees Red Sox, and outside of those two rivalries, you don't really get much more historic from here.
No, and then that's the thing is, I know a lot of other teams and fans will start to be like, oh yeah, the Ravens and the Steelers, and the Cowboys and the Giants, and I'm like, no other rivalry has almost 100 digits in each win and loss column. Packers are up 2.
Here's the deal.
Oh God,
guys.
Here we go.
Here's the deal. Here's the end-all argument for all of it. There's 3 franchises in the NFL that can claim that they have the richest historical value to the NFL. Do you know what 3 teams those are?
Can I guess Bears, Packers, I don't know the third one.
Chiefs.
Everyone should be the Cardinals.
Chiefs.
The Cardinals and
the Lamar
other
Hunt Trophy for the AFC Championship, the NFC Championship, and the Lombardi Trophy for the championship. Those 3 teams have the richest connection to the history of the NFL based on the fact that the 3 trophies that everybody's fighting for are named after those 3 franchises, historical owners and coaches. That's it. End all be all. Everybody else is playing second fiddle.
Do you know why Lamar Hunt went ahead, came out and named it the Super Bowl?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, I know
this
one. Oh, yes, I do. I know this one. But go ahead, Dave.
No, I want you to answer. If you know, I want to hear it.
It came from his granddaughter playing with the Super Ball, and that he basically went and was, oh, yeah.
God, I
they,
love you.
They spitballed it, and it became Super Bowl. No, it's Super Bowl. Super Bowl. And that's how it was. And basically, after that, no championship is recognized in the NFL, which is the only major sport in America that does not recognize its previous championships before a certain date. Even the NBA recognizes ABA championships when they're talking about historical Hall of Fame players. NFL, if you didn't win a Super Bowl, you haven't won a championship. It's ridiculous.
Interesting. That's kind of interesting. It's kind of crazy, actually. Think about it.
It came from a child's toy. Isn't that amazing? I mean, just sitting there watching his granddaughter. And breaking news, Jared Goff, the 4-year deal he's getting, $134 million total and $110 million guaranteed. What? $110 million for Jared Goff?
Does that make him the highest paid guaranteed ever?
Guaranteed, I think he does, but he's making, I think, 32. I think it was 32.5 to 33.5 million somewhere, and that's over what Rodgers makes, Matt Ryan, Brady. I mean, that's another $500,000 above what they're making, and that is very surprising because I think they overpaid here a little bit. I don't know what you guys think, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they overpaid too, but you do have a young guy, and the Rams do have that young core. I guess they could afford to pay him. The issue that I have with this is that the same agent, Rep One Sports, that it has Goff also has Trubisky. So we're going to be seeing something like that in 2 years when it's his time. So, and 1 or 2 years.
Might be before that.
Yeah. So, we could see it as soon as next year. So we'll see.
Well, actually, you just brought up Mitch. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. Do you think there's any progression from what he did last year going into game one or even this season? I mean, I know people say there's going to be progression, but I need to see some things work out before people say, oh, yeah, he's going to progress. Because, I mean, we haven't seen the third year, you know? Yeah,
of course, and it's tough. You know, it's everybody jumps on the bandwagon of Mitch isn't going to be good, but everybody forgets Mitch has, out of every quarterback still in the league, he's got the least amount of reps out of any of them since high school. He started 1 year in college. He played under John Fox. He threw, 10 times a game, not even exaggerating there. He threw on third down only with Fox. That was
Fox ran a lot.
Fox ran a lot.
A ton.
Yeah, it was very frustrating, especially for his development. So that put him back even more. So it was great to see what he did last year. And then coming into this year, it's more about getting comfortable and obviously going through his progressions. You guys will see him come out on Thursday. He'll be more confident than what he was last year. You can definitely see last year was going by script, which is what you do when you're preparing for games. You go by script, and then eventually the defense catches up, and you have to go off script. But what you're going to see is you should be able to see a comfortable Mitch, especially being home. He's going to be fired up, and there is going to be improvement. I don't think you're going to be seeing these 180 to 220 yard games from him anymore. It should be a little bit more with the offense that they have, especially with the new pieces that they added. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of sophistication. He's super comfortable with the playbook this year. So just some awesome, those are the intangibles that you kind of look for when you're looking for improvement at quarterback, and he's got them so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I've seen some Bears fans come out and say he's going to be like the next Peyton Manning in there, or dropping Hall of Famers names.
Yeah, no. We don't
my biggest,
that good. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the defense and the run game, you got Montgomery right there is a huge lean on for that. He's going to be a horse for y'all. But my biggest thing is with Mitch is it's his mechanics at times, where you can watch a full game's tape and you see 8 different throwing styles, and it drives me nuts. Like, he'll throw with his feet off the ground. He'll throw with 1 foot off the ground. He'll throw sidearm. It's all about consistency, I know, at a QB position, and it's like he can't get in a rhythm for, like, being that, and especially going through different games, you know?
Well, yeah, but you can take a look at that, and you can say that for just about anyone. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. When he gets out of the pocket, he's jumping up, throwing the ball. I mean, he's doing things I've never seen. The one good thing, I don't even know if this is good, that I took from the Bears' terrible last, 6 or 7 years before last year was I appreciated how good Aaron Rodgers was as an athlete and as a QB because he is incredible. But
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in right here because I want you to realize this. I know it seems like Aaron Rodgers throws off of all these different platforms. That's only with his lower body. About 4 years ago, ESPN Sports Science did a long piece, and they compared Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady have the exact same throwing motion and release point, and the exact same. It was 1.87 seconds from the delivery, and the only difference is they showed how Aaron Rodgers moves with his feet off the ground, same delivery. That was what they were talking about, made them so great, because they went through then and talked to guys like Dan Marino, John Elway. Yes, they can move. Even Brett Favre, his delivery was the same. It was consistent no matter whether it was that fast or not. It's always the same, and that's why we kind of harp on that. We do the same thing with Mariota. We do the same thing with Matt Stafford. It's really what keeps a really talented quarterback from taking that next step, because your accuracy never quite gets to that pinpoint, squeeze it in, consistent game in, throw in and throw out, because the muscle memory just never develops. That's kind of where I want to jump in, because they've already proven through a lot of stuff that those greats, that throwing motion is consistent down in and down out every throw no matter what, and that's really what separates them, is that mechanics, and that's why we really harp on the mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that, but then you could look at the new wave of quarterbacks coming in, because if you look at Pat Mahomes, you look at Baker Mayfield, you can look at Mitch Trubisky, you can even look at Deshaun Watson. They don't throw the same release points every time. So you could technically make a point that maybe the greats and the way that quarterback position is changing is the more, I don't want to say running, but the more mobile quarterback, throwing on the run, throwing on the move, and maybe changing the arm slot to make different throws. But again, like you said, it can lead to inconsistency if someone's not comfortable with that.
Now, there's this rumor that I've been seeing out there about, and I'm not trying to bash Mitch, I really want to know. I keep hearing Mitch can't throw to his left. Is that true?
Yeah, hit me, guys. No, I don't know. I think the issue with Mitch is it's not him throwing left, it's him not looking left. So he's one of the more accurate quarterbacks. He's above average, actually, passer rating throwing to the left. Close to the line of scrimmage and about 10 to 15 yards off, there's some diagram out there where he's above average throwing to the left.
Like a flow chart.
His issue is more looking that way. It's the progression issue. He won't look left. He won't look to the open player. It's that's kind of the thing. And so when you got some media saying he's having issues throwing left, then people take it and say, oh, he can't throw left. But if you look at some of his greatest throws last year, it's pretty surprising. I can name 4 or 5 off the top of my head of his greatest throws of the year, all were to the left. So that's definitely not his throwing. It's him looking and progressing to the left side of the field.
It's the mental capacity, basically.
No.
Yeah.
I will jump in here. This is something that bothers me, okay? Because when I watch tape, you have to account for what the offense is asking and where it came from. And Nagy came from Andy Reid. And it's not that Mitch and you're not even wrong, but it's not the way the play is designed with the crossing routes. A lot of the hot routes are designed that if there's pressure or anything, there's an open guy right there so that when his back foot hits, he can release it, get the ball out before the pressure's there. So there's no even time to look left. The way this offense is designed, and this is what drives me nuts, if you're going to come up with something, watch the tape and understand where the play is designed and where your out and your first read comes from, your still hot route. And it's a lot of that is at his right. And look, maybe it drives people nuts because he's a little paranoid and hits it too early sometimes when maybe he would have time. But you can't fault the kid for doing something that at least it's a successful play, and it is part of the design of the actual play and tack. So I will defend him in there where media says that he can't do it. No, it's part of the design of the offense he's running, and he's doing it in context of the way it's done. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and I, that totally get that. And again, if you look at Nagy's offense and you watch film, it's a lot of quick throws. There's a lot of underneath routes. You can look at him crossing routes, out routes, whatever you have, and then eventually he'll open it up and